Hello, I am Andres Marquez from Arequipa, Peru. This lesson is for week 1 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera. I will be teaching how to record an electric guitar with an amplifier using the gear in my home studio. For this we're gonna need an electric guitar, a guitar amplifier. I will be using a Marshall MG100 DFX, a PC with a DAW installed. I'll be using Adobe Audition. An audio interface. I'll be using an M-Audio Fast Track Pro. Also, an XLR balance cable. Instrument microphone. I'll be using a Shure SM57, which is a standard in electric guitar recording. Also a mic stand with a mic clip. You may also want a working line input on your sound card with a 1/8 inch mono cable adapter, also known as mini plug here. 1/4 inch mono cables. I will also be using some guitar effect bells. An equalizer. I'll be using an MXR 10 band EQ. Also I'll be using as a booster an Ibanez TS8, also known as Tube Screamer. Loudon spoke about two pickup options which fit into our scenario. Pickup option 2, which is basically using a microphone to get the signal, and pickup option number 3, which is to use the amp's line output. The cool part of the interface I'm using is that it has two separate inputs, so you can use both of these pickup options simultaneously, and then you can use whichever signal or both if you prefer on the mix. Previous lesson from Loudon showed us that the signal chain goes like this: guitar, amplifier, microphone, audio interface, PC with DAW. I would like to introduce some more elements into this chain in order to maximize the benefits of the amplifier capabilities. So the chain would go as follows: guitar, overdrive or distortion pedals, amplifier. We're gonna use the effects loop send to the EQ, the booster, and then to the effects loop return. Microphone, audio interface, and PC with DAW. There is a reason for each of these new elements to be there. Let me explain this. Overdrive pedals such as this Sonic BB preamp here can be used to drive the amp's distortion a little harder to get heavier sounds, suitable for hard rock or metal. It is also very nice to give lead sounds a little bit more gain. Distortion pedals can be used if you don't like your amp's distortion very much. Personally, I prefer using this Sur Riot with the BB preamp boosting it over channel 2 of this amp, which is the distortion one. Marshall MGs are not high-end amps, so their distortion is not really something to die for, but still, this is a great amp for making drafts of songs. The effects loop is used to additionally process the signal after the amp's preamp, which means that in case you like your amp's distortion, you could use it, and by putting a delay or reverb pedal here, you could enhance your amp's distorted signal. Delay and reverb pedals normally don't go before the overdrive or distortion. They are commonly put last on the chain. This is because you may want to delay the distorted signal, not distort the signal with the echoes on it. It is important to note that I am putting the EQ here and not before the overdrive or distortion pedals. If you put it before, you would just be changing the harmonic character of your clean signal, and the distortion pedals and the amp's EQ would then shape this sound afterwards, which reduces your control over your tone. In this place in the loop, you are shaping the already distorted signal to get the end result. It gives you more control of the final tone for your take, and can let you compensate some of your amp's frequencies by boosting or decreasing them. Note that the effects loop send is actually an output jack, which goes to the input of the EQ, and the output of the booster goes to the effects loop return, which is, of course, an input jack. Now this signal can be taken out to the audio using the line out of the amp or using the microphone. I'm gonna use both for this example. First we have to get our amp sounding right, which is, at first, pretty much trial and error. The EQ is going to help us a lot here, to let us shape the signal properly. The way I have set up this EQ is giving me an edgy sound without losing mids. One advice I could share with you on this topic is this one: never equalize with your eyes, always with your ears. Knobs or sliders sometimes trick us. Now, after you get the sound you like, set the levels in the interface. If you are recording at home, it would be nice not to drive your amp's master volume too hard, so your family don't go nuts. Now, onto the DAW. This week we are going more in depth on the DAW, so I'll be very brief here. Your DAW lets you choose where to take the signal from. In this case we have left channel, which is channel 1 on the interface, that is the microphone, and right channel, which is the amp's line out signal. After configuring this, we're good to go. I will record a clean guitar signal. I will record a distorted guitar signal. I will record a lead guitar signal. There are lots of ways to enhance your sounds. I would recommend to check out topics like double tracking, panning, and the processing itself on the DAW. Now for the guys that love metal, hard rock, or any genre where you need high gain setups, I've got something interesting for you. Check out Ola England's videos on YouTube. Ola is awesome testing guitar amplifiers for metal setups, and he even has some tutorials of his own. Also check Slipperman's recording distorted guitars Thread from Hell. There's a section where he comments the different frequencies a guitar has in the frequency spectrum in a way that lets you know which effect it will have on the general sound if you boost or decrease some of them. Both of them are very funny to watch and you can learn a lot at the same time. Well, I hope this is useful for everyone out there. This material wasn't that new to me, although there were some tips in the video lessons which helped me understand better some topics. I wrote everything in Notepad so I didn't forget anything, and I tried to make it as short as possible, without compromising the information. I used Pinnacle for video editing. It takes some time to get this done, but the end result hopefully makes this information easy to understand. It's the first time I make a tutorial, so I believe there's a lot of things to improve. I don't have any fancy device for voice recording, neither a camera stand, for instance. Still, I would love to get some feedback from you about things I missed or any wrong statement. One last thing I would like to add is that recording guitars, and I believe this to be true for every instrument, isn't just about putting the microphone, adjusting levels, and start recording. On a personal note, I found recording distorted guitars to be very difficult, a lot harder than recording clean guitars. The pursuit of tone is an endless journey because you will always want better and better tone. This is the reason why we, as musicians, normally spend money in gear. Also, sounding well is just the first step. You might later want to sound like you, and that people who listen to your music recognize your tone. And this is a far more tricky endeavor. I sincerely hope I helped you in this quest. Thank you for your time.